Ben, why are you slapping yourself?
Because I hate my own face for looking at this TV screen with what's on it for this amount of time.
Is it the pillars?
I
or
only need 14
Why?
more Grimers, Ben.
Why can't my face just turn elsewhere?
I think it's a lot worse because we chose literally the worst Pokemon to do this with.
It might literally be the lowest.
Who's like...
No, actually, no. It could have been worse. It could have been. You could have chosen Rattata, which is less common and less experience.
But he's cuter and like more...
Probably easier to catch too. Not that Grimer's been that bad.
Is Guayma like a low amount of XP?
Guayma.
Should have fucking rolled Chansey's.
It's pretty low XP.
Chances only appear if you have a streak going.
Chances
which
are
is
rare
why
and
it's
they
fucking
appear more
annoying.
if you have
I
a
wonder
streak.
what's better at this point, because like this is the highest level area you can kind of like reasonably get to, right? Would
But
it be better to go to Seafoam maybe?
I mean, at this point, I'm almost done. So.
Oh, yeah.
Well, right, not now.
Just for
of
future
course, but,
reference,
like,
yeah.
would Seafoam have?
Seafoam
been
could have
better?
been a little better.
I
Maybe.
mean, there's a lot of Pokemon out on the water. Or were you talking about like on?
in the
Seafoam
island.
Island.
you could
Yeah, the
have
water
done
would work
tentacles
fine,
out
too,
in the
yeah.
water too.
That would have been
okay.
my guess, because like that's like mid-late game.
I mean,
Yeah.
is that better experience than Grime?
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is probably the best because
Someone's
think in
watching
Seafoam
this
Cave-
losing their fucking minds.
You know what might have been the best? I don't know what the levels. I don't know what
Let
their levels
them.
would have been, but Power Plant might have been pretty good too.
oh, that's
That's
true.
like way
but then
lower
shit
level, though,
explodes.
isn't it?
I don't remember if it's
I think
lower
Power
level.
Plant is lower level. That
might be.
Was always.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I got.
Although
Zapdos
earlier.
Zapdos
like
is still
Articuno,
level
then
50,
Zapdos.
but
Well, yeah, but the Power Plant itself, I think, is.
I thought that was only 30s.
it
but
might be only
Yeah.
30s. Yeah.
Well,
fair.
these
Also,
guys are
level doesn't-
39. Like,
well,
level. Yeah,
Oh,
level
no,
doesn't
Mook!
necessarily equate to experience.
everybody's doing
That's
sorcery.
true. If somebody knows the exact like mechanic, throw it in the comments. But like, it does not seem very plainly clear as to like what Pokemon yields what experience
Yeah.
for catching at what
Yeah.
level. Like,
and some just seem easier to catch than others too. Like I think Grimer was the right balance of like the rewards are good, but it still usually takes 2 or 3 balls to catch.
he
He's
doesn't
tiny.
do too. He's tiny, little garbage boy.
Grimer.
Hey,
They don't do too much to dodge you. They kind of move left and move
No.
right. And
That's
then
the thing, too.
occasionally try to do the bitch
They
slap.
jump. They almost never move left and right.
Oh,
These
okay.
ones, I don't think they've moved left or right at all, have
I
they?
don't think so. That was the other thing because with the as finicky as this, that's what the
The
main
Magmar was
reason
fucking
was.
all over the place.
Yeah, I was trying to do Magmars at first. Ironically, that's not when we found the
No.
shiny.
Oh my god! I was about
he
to be like,
started- The first episode was like
Stressful.
just Magmars, and I think you caught 2 of
One.
them.
Yeah, 1 maybe 2. It was
Did
10.
you guys
think
yell
it
a
might have
lot when
only
you got
been
the
one, but-
shiny?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What happened?
I have. What? It's a shiny.
It is.
yeah,
the only shiny we've ever seen.
You're both excited in
Yes.
the same way.
Do it. Catch it. Raspberries. Go.
Master Ball.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, though, maybe.
No, I'm not going to use my Master Ball on this guy.
This
Are
is
you
the
sure?
worst shiny to come across ever.
Should I use a Master Ball, Ben?
No.
What else are you gonna use it on?
Yeah,
I did.
we were
They were.
excited.
They were less. They weren't as loud.
I was
surprised.
excited, but I was just like, well,
I mean,
first
yeah,
I
it's
thought
not
I
the one
wasn't
you
allowed to
want.
catch it. Then I was a little more excited.
It's not
like
the one that you
Rick
wanted.
just got rid of a fucking Horcrux or something.
Yeah, kinda,
Catching
yeah.
a shiny was one of the D-pad
It's like
Horcruxes.
finally, it took 9
like-
years for us to get there. and
Yep.
we got there.
It's a shiny Magmar.
Rick just deletes the
in
channel.
Pokemon Let's
Boom,
Go
we're done.
Pikachu.
Yes.
We got one. So the
Yeah.
entire purpose of this channel exists is over. Hope you guys don't like Kirby because that's not coming back. Bye.
I'm trying not to be sad about the fact that it's in Pokemon Go.
Right,
and
there's no
it's
way to
a
transfer
Magmar, and yeah, exactly.
into
the
real
transfer
Pokemon.
is
Yeah,
garbage.
so it's like, it's
you could-
cool.
wait, no, you
Well,
can-
can it get to
no.
Pokemon Home?
You can put it to Pokemon Home, yeah.
And then could we take it
Okay.
into Sword and Shield?
I
or
don't know if
something?
Sword and Shield supports Magmar, but if it does, then yes.
Oh.
Wait, what?
I mean, Sword and Shield still doesn't support every Pokemon.
It doesn't?
No.
Oh,
No,
I
they
forgot
expanded
about
the dex.
that.
It's
by
like
like
600 now?
Yeah. They started with like 3 something, right? And
Well,
then
Don't
they,
worry,
Yeah.
you can
600
buy
just fucking
DLC
do
that'll
it.
unlock the
Yeah.
other Pokemon.
the
But
Isle
yeah,
of
you-
We're not
Pokemon, at this point,
greedy.
I don't
I got
know
the
if...
season pass, Ben,
Oh my
so I only
God.
had to
They're
pay
all-
$160
At this point, I believe
once.
every newest version
I
of
thought
every
for a second
game...
you did actually get a season pass.
Oh, fuck to the no.
I believe every newest version of every game can now transfer up to Pokemon Home. Like, you have to
good.
chain some of them, but
Oh.
like Fire Red, Leaf Green,
upgrade it
and
to a
like
more
Black and
modern
White,
one or something,
Yeah,
and
you have to,
then
like,
go to home.
pass them to like, yeah,
No, okay.
Wait, how could you possibly get something from Fire Red, Leaf Green?
because you can trade that ahead to oh boy,
A
how
DS
does this
game,
work?
and then do a 3DS game?
Yeah,
kind of
then
like Daisy
eventually-
chained them to
Basically.
compatible versions.
Alright,
Yeah.
um,
Because they
I don't remember
always
the
make
exact
the next
path.
game compatible with the
With the
previous
last one.
game, except
Yeah.
for Sword and Shield for some fucking reason.
I mean, that might
No.
be.
but like you can daisy chain
Because
them
they were
up
going to do Pokemon Home, probably, I guess.
Yeah.
but-
Probably, and also because they weren't going to have all the Pokemon in it.
But wouldn't
too,
a couple
so.
of trades between gens be like, oh, now you have a nature that you didn't have before? Like,
no,
if you caught
not
an
as
old
of
enough.
as of Gen 3, maybe 4. Those are locked down in a way where they don't get changed through trades anymore.
Oh, okay.
Gens 1 and 2 got a little dicey with that.
Well, because there weren't natures or like, is that what they call
Yeah,
it? Nature?
if you trade from
Pokemon's
Gen
nature?
1 up, you
Can
can
you get-
discover that a Pokemon is shiny that you had no way of knowing. There's also
Huh.
it will gain abilities or natures or things
Okay.
like as you trade them up as well.
That's
but,
what I was
like,
thinking, because it has to, mechanically, if it goes forward in the Pokemon games, it has to also
Yeah.
get,
You're not going to get a Pokemon that doesn't have a nature.
At
That
this
was my
point-
question,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
At this point, I want to say Gen 1 and 2, I don't think can, like the original Gen 1 and 2 can't trade up, but the 3DS ports of them you can trade now.
What if I have a Pokemon in Pokemon Coliseum?
Oh god, that
Is
would
that
trade with
possible?
Diamond and Pearl,
I
I
was going to
think.
say, there's definitely a way to like laterally trade and then
Yeah.
back up.
Man, I found, so we're cleaning up my grandmother's house over the last, number of months and stuff. And me, Dave, and Mom lived there for a couple of years, like way back when.
Yep.
And they were cleaning stuff out, and occasionally they kept finding stuff. I found a Prima N64 release.
It's like you were here the whole time.
I know, we were
Jeff.
talking about Prima and
My
Brady.
theory about the universe only having a limited amount of RAM, so it just recycles stuff when
we
it
were,
doesn't.
we were talking about Prima and Brady games.
Oh.
Minutes before you got
yeah.
here.
Well,
And like
well,
the-
episodes before you
yeah.
got
Yes.
here.
Oh, okay.
But it
Well-
was for what? For Coliseum or?
Well, no. On release of the N64, there were the release stable of games, and
Yeah.
this was the very first Prima. It was like the N64 release handbook. And
Oh,
stuff.
interesting.
And it wasn't a strategy guide for every game,
But,
it
bits and
had
pieces of,
had move lists and codes for Mortal Kombat 64 and Wave Race 64. It had
Oh,
a
boy.
couple of track descriptions and how to find stuff. So it was like
Wave
20
Race 64, the launch game they loved so much they just made it a launch game for the GameCube again.
yeah. I mean, them water physics.
That was the strangest. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, not one of those timeless classics ones. Though I did recently
No.
watch a speed run of Wave Race 64.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
It's pretty disgusting.
Okay.
How quickly, they literally skip off of waves and jump over stuff.
Yeah,
and
Mario, some Mario Kart style shenanigans there. Yeah.
Exactly. It's just
Oh,
incredibly.
that sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
Those are the speedruns that I love to watch when they really
the more
have
exploitative ones.
complete mastery over the game. It's
Yeah.
like the game. You're now you follow my rules.
Someone literally, I think today, someone finally
Bends
a
into kinky shit.
speedrunner finally figured out how to do arbitrary code execution in Paper Mario.
That is correct. Yeah, Paper Mario 64 is now ACE enabled.
Yep. So it's gone from this game can be beaten in 48
Right.
minutes to this game can be beaten in 5 minutes.
Yep. Yeah.
What does that mean, arbitrary code execution? Can you just paste in some code and
No,
Base.
I don't really
means
know what that means.
So arbitrary code execution means that you have effectively direct access to memory addresses and modification thereof.
Okay.
So you can't just type in C code to your game and have it work.
Right, and I knew that you
No.
couldn't, but I wanted to know what they meant by
But
that.
Yes.
then.
with
but you
enough
could
with enough time
force
and
it to
patience,
move your character to the ending credits.
Yeah,
Correct.
The two
Yeah.
most
God.
famous ones of those right now are from Super Mario Brothers 3 and Super Mario World. The one in Mario Brothers 3, there's a level in World 7, the Pipe World, where this really intricate set of killing certain Koopas in a certain order
You have
and
to
dropping a shell in the same X
Overload the
coordinate and
amount
drop
of
it. and-
sprites on the screen,
Yeah.
and then you transfer, and then it the sprite array bumps into the target
Yep.
destination
and
array.
you time a
and-
pipe drop at the same
What?
Yeah.
it's that one's a weird one. Mario World is at least arguably a little more comprehensible. It's still a lot of kill specific enemies, load up specific enemies in. So when an enemy spawns, the way that it's stored in memory in Mario World, it stores, I want to say, 8 enemies at once.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is by killing certain enemies in the stage and then running backwards and making sure specific enemies are in specific slots.
Oh my god!
You then can
We are the
exploit
trash
little
lords.
pieces of that. what is it? If Yoshi eats,
I like the two Raticates at the beginning. It was like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah, gross.
I know who I am.
It's
the
a
one,
mouse.
The one in Mario World involves like if Yoshi eats a coin at the same time as you scroll the screen enough to just barely spawn an enemy, then it messes up the coin item because of like where it's being stored in memory and loads up a charge and chuck in like a weird state, and the specific kind of charge and chuck and the power that Mario has, and I think like the X and Y coordinates you're on, all of these combine to form like this piece of like this pointer essentially in the code that like makes stuff happen.
And that's the reality of arbitrary code execution in games, is where like the best that a human can do is kick some shells around, set up a particular hex address, and then do something glitchy to push it into somewhere it shouldn't be, and then screen transition, and then instead of screen transitioning into the level, you go to the end credits or something.
Right.
But there are
specifically targeting that one piece of memory that's like, where are we going?
There are TAS runs of games where with a TAS you have a computer doing inputs into the system, where I believe it's in Mario Brothers World.
It's practically instant. Like they start and it's like dink.
Yes,
credits.
well they can actually program. They can reprogram the game. So somebody made Snake in Super Mario Brothers World, where it took about like 15 seconds of like inputs of, and literally it's the game being like down, left, right, up, up, A, B, left, right, like it's
like if you had infinite time, it could be hypothetically human possible, but like no one, it would take like days of just sitting there doing this pixel perfect. And like, it's impressive as shit though.
As I'm feeding Muck these candies, Ben is over on his chair, just like cackling and slobbering in his mouth, pretending to be this Muck full of power candy, ready to unleash my children.
All right, you gonna go fight Blaine or what?
I am. Yeah, I'm just shoving some candy in my.
Are you gonna fight the other trainers?
Oh, what's the level cap? 99. 1 second.
Yeah, I mean the only one who's out of range a little is Fafnir. Everyone else
is like right
where
on
your
where
team
they would.
is,
Yeah,
you know?
I believe I remember.
And if you average these guys together, then
if I remember
I'm
correctly,
in line
Rick's
with you.
highest was 60 and
58.
58.
And 4 56s, a 57, a 58.
Oh, I thought you had a 60 in there.
So
No, I was hoping to get to 60 because then I could start using XL candies.
Yeah. So if we average everything together,
it's
probably
about the
very,
same.
very.
It's
close.
about
Oh yeah, yeah.
After I beat the trainers, I might be a little up, but honestly, I've lost the last 3. So
you got to put Eter or Eater.
Eter. I don't know.
Eter. Okay, you guys should put him out front and switch train him maybe through trainers.
That's what I'm gonna do. I gave him dig so that he can at least be covered against the fire dudes.
Word.
Now, excuse me.
Jesus
I have
Christ.
to use 183 health candy now.
God, can we please just fast forward through this?
Well, we will if the conversation sucks, but our conversation has been pretty decent today.
That's fair, yeah. And I assume we're just gonna.
16,
and after this, we're probably just gonna
I'm
end the
here
episode
now.
before we head into the gym anyway. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
All right. Like I was saying about code execution, let me explain what a nibble is versus a bite. So a nibble.
Wait, is a nibble a real thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
It's half a bite.
I fucking love nerds.
Yeah.
what bit?
A nibble is 2 hex characters.
That's amazing.
And a bite is 4.
yeah.
So
I remember there is.
So, like, of course it's called a nibble.
Right.
and
Then after a bite, you get a double and then a word. I think is 4 of them.
Oh, that's dumb.
those are the
Someone fucked up
the
there.
size of variables that take up memory of that size. But like nibble, bite, are just like amounts of data storage.
Yeah.
So like it's relevant because back in the day with like 8-bit computers and older stuff like that, you couldn't necessarily move a whole byte at a time. You had to move it like nibble by nibble sometimes, which seems silly,
Nibble
but like
by
it's legit.
nibble, bit by bit.
So you
favorite
figure
sitcom.
like why ever do an operation on half of a byte and then have to redo it to do the other half or something? But it's because there wasn't enough. There wasn't enough bandwidth.
Yeah.
They only had 8 fucking bits.
Now you can move a fucking gigabyte worth of shit in like a couple seconds.
Yeah. Just
But yeah, arbitrary
M2
code
drives.
all the arbitrary code execution stuff is wild to me because it's literally like it's practically black magic to start with, and to even have an inkling that maybe it's doable, you already need to have like a deep knowledge of the
How do people
storage of each
figure
of
that
these games.
shit out?
emulators and
so they're kind of like
code
seeing
analysis.
what's happening
Yeah.
to the code as they're playing.
Literally,
like, oh,
you
okay.
can have an emulator set up to watch memory addresses
Yeah.
and then
Yeah,
assign
yeah.
names to that. So if you know where position X for Mario is stored and position Y is,
You can see if that changes or
exactly. If you do something weird and then suddenly your like held item changes, then you're like, "Ooh, that's a fucking bug."
That
I
used to
remember
be-
using Cheat Engine, just fucking around with it because it's interesting to
Yeah.
use. With like, you could have it like look for like addresses, and then you could like try to get hit, and then see if what addresses change. And you could kind of like narrow it down until you're like, this is the address that represents my health.
Yes.
And then you could fix it on 100%, and then you can take damage.
That's exactly how
Yeah.
like game genies and stuff worked. Is they intercepted like code and like writes to RAM inside of various game systems, and we're like, nope, that is not 20. It is always 100.
Right.
And and that was the most interesting thing back in the day. I don't know if anybody ever really aggressively played around with like game genies or anything
Oh, I
like
definitely
that.
did. I love that shit. I would try and make up my own codes. I would
Yeah.
just try random shit.
yeah.
I didn't really understand how it worked, obviously, so I would just like, well, I know this code does this, so if I change one letter here,
Yeah,
it
what is
seems
that?
to change it to something else.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, a lot of that was literally trial and error. Like back in the day, Game Genie and stuff. No game companies were like, oh yeah, by the way,
Here's our hex address.
health
Have
is
fun.
Source code.
Right.
yeah, health is stored at OX.
Yeah.
But there were a lot
8AB2
fewer
or something.
places where things could be stored. I mean,
True.
Super Mario,
Yeah.
the original Super Mario Brothers was what, like 40 kilobytes or something insane?
Something. It was very small.
So like, you could find those things easier than you could in a bigger game, obviously.
Yes.
Well, it's interesting because like 40 kilobits or 40 kilobytes is like not a lot, and I think it's actually less than that. Come to
you
think
mean,
of it, Genesis
kibibytes?
cartridges, because like Genesis cartridges got to like, I mean, yeah, kibibytes.
that.
Genesis cartridges were in like the 2 to 4 range. Like there might have been 8 megabit ones too.
Yeah, I think the biggest Genesis and SNES cartridges were in the 4, and then maybe there were a couple of 8 megabyte cartridges, but
Take a
like
look,
I
I think
don't know. And that was like
that was like that was like
later.
that was like our Star Foxes and our like Kirby's Dream Land 3s and stuff like that.
I mean, Star Fox had its own fucking physics
Super FX chip,
coprocessor,
yeah.
which had a bunch of RAM. So
Which, yeah, there
technically,
was-
the thing had like an extra megabyte or whatever, but it's
It's-
all physics processing RAM.
It's kind of wild how much information still isn't really commonly known about this stuff too, where like that used to be like the whole idea of Super FX chip and its like family and like any other things like that was like it literally there was a point where some of these cartridges were doing more of the game running than the systems were.
Yes.
And like anytime it had those chips, it basically told the system, don't you do this, I'll do this. You do other stuff, I'm going to handle this instead. So
Yeah.
there were some games where literally the cartridge was doing basically all of the work on its own, and the system was just like, I give you electricity. Go.
Yes. Here's a 7. Okay, here's 9,000 variables I need you to track.
Here's a 3. Sweet. Here's calculus.
Literally. I mean, that was part of the nature of the design cycle, and it's not something that was very common
Just
on
beefing up Charizard.
Nintendo.
I
like
don't think it's going to make that big a difference. I can stop if it's weird.
extra.
You do what you want to
I
do.
can stop at any time.
I mean, use the candies. Don't not use
Yeah.
them. In my
Yeah.
opinion, like that's fair game.
I mean, after another level or two, I might be able to use him on Pikachu too, but I don't think beefing him is going to be
Oh God,
any
Holy
less annoying.
Christ.
he does not need beefing.
You know?
Oh my god.
Yeah, the Nintendo Entertainment System, the original,
Yeah.
like most of the cartridges didn't really, evolve the system at all. They just had more storage than
I don't think
previous.
the NES was built to, really. Like,
No.
it didn't know how to hand that off.
No, it just kind of spit electrons at the cartridge, and the cartridge spit them back.
Yeah.
like it wasn't too much.
Like Zelda and Metroid were originally going to be for the disc system that they kind of like gave up on.
Oh, they
so
were.
they actually had to like aggressively reverse engineer them to get them to work on cartridges again
Yeah.
when they came to America.
Yeah, the iconic Legend of Zelda like theme song is strictly speaking a downgrade of the one that they made for the Famicom Disk System. Like the Disk System one is technically the original, and I don't like it as much. It's fine. It's more like
Less pure, you
instrumentative, but it
think?
doesn't.
Right.
It feels it feels more like a. Weirdly enough, it feels more like a MIDI than the NES one, which is more MIDI-ized anyway. But like, I don't know. There's something about like
They're just there. By the way, there isn't a way to do like please give 20 candies.
No.
we commented on
We
that
looked.
too.
I had a feeling that somebody had checked ahead of time.
Yeah.
Like,
I have barely
Unfortunately.
used candies the whole game, so I'm
Yeah.
kind of like catching up on a long.
that makes sense.
You know.
Why you have like 40 in the pocket.
So like Zelda on the NES, you have the kind of like
This is fucking awful,
like the very like flat like square wave thing. I don't know if you guys have ever heard the one for the Famicom Disk System, but it's got
No,
this
no,
like
no.
Nope.
clarinety, trumpety kind of like software.
Are they like MIDI instruments?
I mean, that
Yeah,
sounds
basically.
good.
Oh.
Because it was.
Sounds
I
like
mean,
it
that's
should
the
be
thing.
good.
If it's
right?
on a disk system, then they have a lot more leeway to do
You
that stuff.
can store samples then.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, all right, is this more instrumentated? I guess, like, yes, but something about it, it's not as like, it doesn't feel as carefully pieced together as the NES one is, where they're so much more restricted, and they've got way less like freedom to like just kind of explore with it. But yeah, no, Zelda was originally for the disc system. I want to say was.
Zelda's for my dick system.
I think the Japanese version of Mario 2 was also
Got
disc
'em.
system first. I don't remember.
So fucking dumb.
Oh my
so
god.
excellent, stupid.
Oh man.
I'm pretty sure I put all these candies in the dumbest places possible. I'm just
Entirely
trying
possible.
to get through them.
You're doing great.
So
job.
so it's
Don't
gonna
let
be me
anyone tell
versus
you
like
different.
Royd.
It's just gonna be you versus Charizard.
Charizard.
I really don't think it's gonna be that bad.
That was a lot of health candy, man.
We'll find out.
But remember, they're diminishing returns. It's not like he gained 100 hit points from that. He gained like 18 hit points from that.
It was a lot more than that, but we'll see.
We'll find out.
Find out next time when I actually fight some stuff. Bye.
Bye.